Hey, it's me again. I'm gonna play Immaculate Grid number two. I had this coach in Little League that when he would throw batting practice to us, he always wanted us to end on a high note. He didn't want, even if one guy, sometimes that guy was me, because I wasn't very good. But even if we're just not putting good aluminum on the ball, he was just like, no, we got to end on a high note. And I've gone 0 for 2 so far, and I want to end on a high note. I want that good energy heading into the Brewers' the last push towards the postseason. I don't know. Maybe that's just being silly, but I got some time. So I'm gonna play grid number two. It's really cool that Baseball Reference has opened up all the rest of the grids, the previous grids, so we can go back and play them. That's a lot of fun. Most people weren't playing from grid number one. They started playing like me. I started playing around grid in the 70s somewhere. So it's pretty cool to go back and play these. I botched the last one because I was very sure that Rusty Greer, who was a like 305 career hitter and hit third in the middle of just monster offenses for the Texas Rangers. I mean, the Juan Gonzalez, Pudge Rodriguez, Rafael Palmeiro, Will Clark before that. Like it's so many studs on those Rangers teams. He's hitting third. He's hitting like 330 on some of these years. But yeah, he was a much better second half player than first half player. You go back and look at the splits as I just did because I was kicking myself. Um, anyway, I am gonna start sharing, I guess, and we'll get right into it. I was so distracted I like didn't end the video properly on the last one, so I guess that's what you get when you have a low value production such as this one. So let's see. That needs to, there we go. Play any grid. So I'm gonna click that. Okay, I can do that and scroll down. Oh man, so I'll get a running tab. I can get a running tab on how I've done on these. Gotcha. Of course, I don't use I was using it's different browsers. I was using Edge for a while. I've started using Chrome just because they don't pop up these annoying advertisements on me. So um anyway, here we go. April 5th. Let's take ourselves back in time. Nobody thought the Brewers were going to clinch a postseason victory. And let's play Immaculate Grid number two. World Series champ on the World Series roster. Okay, that's a new one. That's a new one. Let's see here. We got Yankees, Astros, and Mets, and we got to match that with the Washington Nationals slash um, Montreal Expos. All right, so let's try to not mess this one up. Um, here's a good one. I don't know if this will be the best one, but I'm gonna go with someone not thought of much as a Yankee, more of a Cardinal Giant, but Johnny Mize not didn't wasn't just on the roster for one World Series. He won five in a row at the end of his career. So he puts together this Hall of Fame career, hits over 50 home runs one year, drives 100 runs a bunch of times. I think maybe wins an MVP in there. Not with the Giants though. Learned that one earlier. But he he plays with the Yankees for his final five seasons, which if you know like that year 53, that's the last of the five consecutive World Series that the Yankees won from 49 to 53, five in a row. So he was on those rosters. Let's get him in there. Takes way less than 1%. Pretty cool. Let's see. Astros, plenty of options there. In theory, we have 25 people, whatever the overlap is between the 2017 team and the 2022 team. Um, your more popular ones will probably be like Bregman and Altuve, Verlander. He was on both rosters. Um, Martin Maldonado. I've got a soft spot in my heart for him. Correa for the first iteration there. Let's see here. How about Ken Giles? He was the closer on that 17 team, right? I think. That's a pretty good pick. Goes less than 1%. And then Mets World Series champs. So we're talking 69 and 86, but they have to be on the World Series roster. Oh, let's see. Cleon Jones was a hero on that. Ooh, I've got one. I'm not 100% if he was on, I think he was on the World Series roster. And this is someone I wrote about in my book, Baseball's Most Fun Frivolities. He had the chapter I wrote about was with a different team. It was with the Cincinnati Reds and the greatest game of his life in a loss, interestingly enough. But I believe Art Shamsky was on the 69 Mets. He goes less than 1%. All right. And then All-Star got me in trouble on the last one. Maybe I just try to match up some people here. Um, let's see. This is a tough one. Tim Raines will certainly work for Yankees and Nationals, but I think that one will be just a bit too obvious. I think, did Rondell White, he bounced around a little bit. Did he make it to the Yankees? John Wetland will work for the Yankees. Um, let's see. Gary Carter would be a decent pick. Rusty Staub will work. How about Rusty Staub down here? 3%. Okay, that's a little bit higher than I would have thought. I'm gonna go Sean Barry here, former Milwaukee Brewer. Very disappointing Milwaukee Brewer. He played for the Expos and Astros. He goes less than 1%. And I want to do better than like John Wetland. Alfonso Soriano is another good one. Just trying to think, like who's a very unobvious person who kind of popped into New York or Montreal briefly. Because Wetlands, I mean, he won a World Series MVP, so I don't really want to go with him if I can avoid it. Um, see, also, I'm gonna go. I think I've used him before, but when the Yankees didn't have a lot of talent from about 65 to 75, Roy White made a couple All-Star appearances. He goes less than 1%. Um, let's see, All-Stars for Houston. How about Jim Wynn, 60s? Surprised me if he didn't. 1%. And then with the New York Mets, trying to think of any really obscure ones. I don't know about really obscure. I mean, Jerry Koosman maybe. Obviously, you got Seaver. You got that infield of Ventura, and I don't know if Ordonez. I mean, he's such a bad hitter. I'm not sure if Ordonez would have made it. Um, not sure if Randy Myers or John Franco. I gotta believe one of them made it to the All-Star game. Um, sure Al Leiter made it a time or two. Olerud would surprise me if he didn't. Um, but again, I'm trying to picture like what helps is like if I remember the All-Star game, like I can distinctly remember the All-Star game and seeing the person in there. Like a few weeks ago, I did, or maybe it was last week. It was uh Shaw, Travis Shaw's dad. Why am I blanking on his name? But Jeff Shaw. He was closer for the Cincinnati Reds. He gets basically selected for the All-Star game based on his work for the Reds, but he gets traded to LA, so he's in the dugout as a Dodger, and I thought it was like kind of just a weird visual. So I that stuck with me. Same if like a guy shows up in the home run derby, like Pete Alonso is probably going to be very popular on that one. Um, but if I can't picture the like I John Olerud was a fantastic first baseman for 3 or 4 years there with the Mets, but I don't recall seeing him in the All-Star game. It would surprise me if he didn't make the All-Star game. Same with Edgardo Alfonso or um but like he wasn't getting elected because Biggio was the second baseman on those teams for the most part. Ventura maybe um, is a safer pick. Um, I think you can go the 80s. You got like Daryl Strawberry certainly works. Gary Carter, I'm sure works. Dwight Gooden. Um, Howard Johnson's got to work. That'd be a good one. I'm gonna go with Robin Ventura. Actually, I'm not. Well, no, I'm pretty sure on him. Oh, I didn't make it either. All right. I'm gonna call it at 3. That's so surprising. All right, so 0 for 3. This is a uncharacteristic day for me here. Soriano being the highest one there. 25,000 played on this on these ones here. All right. Well, this is that one was kind of a bummer. Today has been a bummer playing Immaculate Grid, but there's a smile on my face. This isn't going to affect the Brewers. No way. Because that doesn't make any sense, right? Um, anyway, buy my book. I promise I have some baseball knowledge and I display some of it in there. And watch the other videos because I do a lot better for the most part. Tough day, huh? 0 for 3. That happens even to the best ball players. So I'm just gonna cut my losses there and hopefully have a better Sunday. Peace.